Hey guys, Donna here. Thank you so much for joining me on another video. Today we are going to talk about what I did not see coming in my last couple of manuscripts. I haven't uploaded a video in a while, and that's because I've been having technical difficulties sort of all over the place. I have been trying out a new lapel mic so that I don't have to record on my laptop. I need to be able to use my phone and then a new camera that I'm eventually going to get. So I've been testing out the lapel mic and wasn't getting it to pair correctly with my phone, so there was no sound at all. Yesterday, I did manage to get it up and running, and it was working. The sound quality was really good. I did some test videos, but when I went to record, I did not shut the door that is over here on the side of me. And so if you have a 120-pound German Shepherd in your house, you understand what happens to equipment when you bring a large dog into a small space. So Sadie came to say hello, and it was totally my fault, nothing to do with her. You know, she's just big and she wanted to be on the screen. And so now that lapel mic is no more. So eventually I'm going to have to get a new one, because right now I actually have a microphone stuck into a drawer, which makes me have to just be sitting here. And yesterday I was able to stand up. And so speaking of technical difficulties, I did get my Shopify store set up, and I announced it in a newsletter, but I really didn't announce it anywhere else. However, you guys have been going there, and I was really shocked. I just kind of set it up and didn't really think about it too much. And then I went and looked at sort of the daily visits and things like that. And I was really shocked that so many people were going there. And then it came to my attention that the problem was I did not have it set up correctly. The shipping situation wasn't right. So when you were trying to order books from there, it was telling you that you couldn't get them. They weren't available in your area. I have corrected that. So it's working. I've put all the codes in, and so the ebooks and audiobooks will be delivered from BookFunnel, and you will get those immediately. The paperbacks that you order from either my website or my Shopify store, those are signed paperbacks and based on what I have in stock here. So I will put a link to the Shopify store in the description of this video, but everything also links out of my website just to make it easier. So leedonnabooks.com. Nice and simple for all of us to remember. Everything that I'm doing will link out of there. I do have a Immortal Monsters tab set up, and right now it's just going to take you to some information. I put some links to Shopify and Patreon and stuff in there. There's also a tab right on the menu. If you click Shopify or Patreon, it's going to redirect you to those websites. And the podcast is going to officially launch worldwide on January the 1st. So nice, easy date for all of us to remember. On the Patreon, I am going to release episodes early, and I actually have some special Patreon-only episodes that will go up, and all of that will happen before the official launch. I'm not going to give you an exact date because I'm still working on getting everything edited. So January 1st, mark your calendars for Immortal Monsters. The podcast is coming, and it will be on all the podcast players. And I'm also doing videos, so it'll be here on YouTube, and I will do a special playlist. And the intro video will be coming soon, so you can look for that. And when I say soon, guys, I'm over here an army of one. So I'm figuring all this stuff out as I go. And that's why it took me so long to get the Shopify issue situated. So if you've been going there and you're trying to buy things and you're frustrated that you couldn't, I apologize. It is working now. The extra items that are there, I have a puzzle with Sadie Jo on it. I love jigsaw puzzles, so I want to do a whole line of puzzles with her. So if you go and you're trying to buy any of the things that are from one of the print-on-demand companies and the shipping is weird or you can't check out or something, let me know, because the only thing I can guarantee you right now is that you can purchase all the books, and all of those links are working. And I know because I went in as a customer and bought everything myself, and everything worked fine. So if you have any issues, just drop me a line. You can hit me up on social media. I sometimes miss messages there. I just came across another one that was a couple of weeks old. And so I'm sorry. I do try to look at that, but sometimes I see that I have a message, but I can't find it. So if you don't hear from me, literally this year, guys, I sent a fax. It's 2022 and I sent a fax this year. That is the level of technology I'm working with over here. So if you just email me at leedonnabooks@gmail.com, that is the easiest way to get me. I do check the emails regularly. And so if you've tried on social media and I haven't responded, just hit me up on email and I'll take care of whatever your need is that way. Okay, so now that we've dealt with sort of all the housekeeping and I've made excuses for why I haven't been posting videos in a while, I wanted to talk about the last two manuscripts that I wrote because I had different experiences with each of them and things that I really haven't experienced before, and also stuff that took me by surprise. And why I think it's important to talk about this is you might be a writer yourself and you're going to hit some of these snags. You're going to have some of these experiences. And it's really important to know that other writers experience all the exact same things that you are experiencing. I know that has helped me with listening to like the Creative Pen podcast, and Joanna Penn has all sorts of different people come in, and to hear everybody sort of being in the same space as not only writers, but as creatives, we all tend to get into sort of the same mindset. So it's important for us to realize that we're all in this together. And you're probably not experiencing anything that is unique from the sense of nobody has ever gone through something that is close to that or similar. So I think it's important for us to share our journeys just to encourage somebody that might be trying to get started, and you have motivation, you're listening to TED Talks and you're reading books and you're doing all these things and you're collecting all this motivation and then not doing anything with it. Because let me tell you, having aspirations and then constantly, you know, all you people out there that are on Pinterest and you're taking the screenshots of all the Pinterest things. I just learned, like, I think last year, my husband showed me how to do screenshots. So, you know, I understand, like, I do what you're doing. I listen to all kinds of podcasts. I read lots of nonfiction books. I too am looking for this motivation. But if you're just collecting that and you're not doing anything with it, if you're the person that says, I'm going to start this craft company, and you go out and you buy all the supplies and then you don't use them, it leads to depression. It puts you in a funk. And listen, I have been in the weirdest mood this whole year. I feel like I've been nosediving and it's really hard to pull up. And normally I have a very rational mind, so I can pull out of whatever negativity that I'm experiencing. But this year has just been on a whole new level. And then I hit the problems that I had with these manuscripts. And I'm going to tell you right now, the one I just finished, if I start just sobbing, it is because that manuscript destroyed me. But before we get into that one, I want to talk to you guys about this one, Marked by Forever, because I experienced something with this that was really painful. Normally when I write, I'm an intuitive writer. So I don't sit down and have these hard outlines or hard plots. It's a lot of scribbling, a lot of notes. I sort of know usually these stories that were in the Beller Ties collection. I did a whole video on them, and you guys can go and listen to that if you want. But the reason I published this set first is because Something So Beautiful is the very first book that I ever wrote. It started my writing journey, and this was over 20 years ago. As soon as I finished this book, I knew there would be 3 others. I knew the main characters I knew the names of those main characters, and I knew the overall story, meaning I knew where it started and I knew where it was going to end. And I knew that there would be like emotional turmoil and things that happened in the middle. These are all standalone books. So what happened is I wrote something so beautiful in its entirety, sat down, got into the flow state. And again, this is something creatives know about. It's what we live on, is getting into the flow state. And I had 120,000 words on the paper overnight. Now and always, I wrote almost the entire book. I would say it was probably maybe around 80% finished or something like that. And then when it came to Dawn of Devotion, I had it, maybe 40 or 50%. And then when it came to Marked by Forever, at this point, other books were already running through my head. So again, I had the story as far as I knew where it was going. I had paragraphs on paper, I had main character names and things like that. But I didn't have all the dots connected from point A to point B. And honestly, I knew who these characters were, but when I was writing this book, I could not connect with any of the characters. There was one character that I connected with in this book, and it isn't the character that is a main character in the book. So there's going to be a spin-off standalone thriller coming to, it's going to be Gideon's story. And if you guys read the book, probably at the end, you're like, what happened to Gideon? But anyway, he's going to get his own book because of what I experienced when I was writing this one. But not a single time did I get into flow state when I was writing this book. Never happened before. Normally, I can just sit with the characters and then they start telling me their stories. They tell me who they are. And the only thing that I do is, as an intuitive writer, is the story just unfolds. It's a movie that's playing and I'm sort of this bystander and I'm just writing down what I see. And I do like to write in first person because that helps me connect with the characters. I also like to read first person books. And I am currently searching for a first person vampire story. If you have one, let me know. I need it immediately. But anyway, so this book was just so difficult because I couldn't get into flow state and I couldn't connect with the characters. And I just felt like I was forcing everything. And it wasn't exactly writer's block because I was putting words on the page. I could sit down and write, but it was almost a very, I'm going to use the word clinical, where I was looking at, okay, where did this chapter end? Where am I going? And I was writing from this very present mindset versus I'm just unaware of any passing time or anything. I'm just in the flow state where I'm sitting down, writing, things are coming out of me. And then I go back later and read it and say, wow, okay, that was good. So this one was very, very forced. And what I found, it was draining on me because of that. I didn't think I was going to finish it. I didn't think I was going to be able to meet my deadline. And I get very hard on myself. Most of us are like that. Even if you're not a creative, you're probably very, very hard on yourself. And not meeting a deadline would feel like such a failure, not only because it would mess up my editor's time frame and what they expected to have doing, but I want to stay on my publishing schedule. I set the schedule for myself and I'm going to publish March 1st, September 1st. And because of what happened with me publishing these romantic suspense books, I'm also going to be publishing on Halloween Day. So 3 books every year instead of originally I thought I was going to publish 2. But having said all that, I set up these deadlines and I want to meet them. And talking about that motivation that we have, and how if we're not acting upon the things that we need to do in order to reach the goals that we have in life, it makes you depressed. It makes you feel like a failure. And this book was just giving me such a fit. If you're a writer, you've probably been in this situation before. If you haven't been and you get there, I'm going to tell you now, it is hard. It is brutal. I even went as far as trying to do character sketches, which some of you as writers, you already do these big character sketches. And I even tried that. And nothing was helping. So at one point, I said, I'm going to scrap all of this and I am going to change who this man is. I'm going to make him into somebody that I like. And immediately, Lily Beller was screaming at me. And she was telling me, this is the story. This is my man. This is who I am. This is who he is. We are these different people. So it was more of, okay, I need to honor who they are and just finish the book. I need to write the story. And then it sort of occurred to me that probably part of the reason that I was not finishing the story is because this collection started my career. It started me writing. Originally, I didn't even think I was going to publish all of these books that I was writing. Just for me, for my own amusement, it fulfilled something deep inside of me. So I started thinking about this, and it occurred to me that really that was probably the problem. And there's no way to fix that. It's the emotions of a writer. 10 years from now, the video I'm going to put up is like, yeah, I've had a lot of time to process. And the whole reason that, I didn't write Dr. Darren Mansfield in a more likable way is because I had such a hard time connecting with the fact that this is the end. It's the end of this family that has been with me for 20 years and the people who sparked my writing bug, the people who developed and put all this inside of me. So I really appreciate you guys reading Marked by Forever. It's actually getting good reviews. And you guys, even if you didn't connect with Dr. Darren Mansfield, you're saying that you really like the story as far as the plot is concerned. And this is why I put out an extra book. This is why I started doing the Halloween thriller release, because I never considered myself a thriller writer. I actually didn't know what I was writing. Again, these original stories, these are all standalone books that are in this Beller Tides collection. And I didn't think they were going to be as well received as they have been. I've sold so many copies, and I get messages from you guys all the time telling me how you're reading these books and you're staying up all night because you can't wait to get to the end. And I'm just sort of floored by that because these books have been with me so long, and I didn't write them with the intent of publishing. And that is a very different thing when you talk about a passion project versus writing something that's for market. But because you guys have, even though I've said these are romantic suspense, for the most part, Now and Always is pretty much just a romance. But the other books, the feedback that you guys give me is this was a really good thriller. And that's what you want from me. You like my plot. You want to see, as one person put it, scary, gruesome, wonderful. And I think that's going to be my new tagline. But you guys liking those scary, gruesome elements of the books, and you think that that's wonderful. It's why last year I went ahead and wrote a story that had been rattling around in my brain for a really long time. And I just hadn't put any words on paper because it was one of these stories. I was like, oh, it's a thriller book, and I don't think I'm a thriller writer. Well, you guys have told me that my way of thinking is incorrect. So last year I published this book on Halloween. Now, this is part of a trilogy, and I did make you wait a whole year for the second book. So Marked by Forever officially releases worldwide on September 1st, 2022. And this the second book in this series. I'm going to put the cover up on the screen for you because I don't have the physical copies yet. But so this one came out last year and it is so good. That ending was everything. And the romantic suspense books or romantic thriller books or just thriller books, whatever you guys want to call them, all of those in the Beller Ties collection, I knew the story from start to finish, and that's the way that it worked out in my brain. These books, when I am thinking about just thriller books, I have all of these sort of punchline endings, and I have to almost write the book backwards. And there is a biker club in this book, and when I was writing it, I wasn't making the biker club front and center because this trilogy is about a sadist, a serial killer who is a sadist, and that is the point of the story, not this biker club. So when I was writing Descend, I kind of hit a block. I didn't know how to, like, the whole middle of the book was missing, right? I had a good start, had an excellent ending, but the middle was kind of like a jambalaya, and I couldn't figure out what the ingredients were. And the biker club, they're just lined up, you know, and arms folded, staring at me, saying, obviously, we're a big part of this book. So as soon as I said, you are right, and I gave in, I hit the flow state, wrote the book super fast, and it is a massive hit. You guys love it. So the second book is the manuscript that I just finished that absolutely destroyed my heart, my soul. I have cried not only during writing this book, and we're not talking like a little tear going down your face. We are talking full-blown sobbing to where my husband is in a different room and comes running to check on me to see what is happening. So Smother absolutely got into flow state. I did the exact same thing with it that I tried to do in Descend, which was pull the bike club out of it and just make this a book about a serial killer, because that is what it is in my head. It's just a story about a serial killer. And the bike club once again said, you're not leaving us out. So as soon as I gave in and said, you are correct, this is as much about you as it is the serial killer. And you know, you put all those pieces in your head and just tell them, I'm just going to be intuitive here. You tell me what the story is and I'll write it. And as soon as that happened, I got into flow state. Everything was fine. And I knew I was going to hit my deadline. I didn't foresee any problems. But this story took a turn that I did not intend for it to. I did not want it to go there. And as I was writing chapters ahead of what was going to happen, I could see what was going to happen. And probably I'm going to start crying right now just trying to tell you guys about this. I saw the setup, I saw what was coming, and I really didn't want it to be true. I didn't want this to happen. And so I'm writing the book and it's getting closer and closer and closer. So I pulled out of flow state, I put the book away, and the next day I came back and I said, I'm not going to write it that way. I'm going to do something different. So that's what I did. And I basically refused to listen to any of the voices in my head, which is what happens when you're a writer. It's not a weird thing to say. We all have voices in our heads. Okay, so I ignore them and write the book the way that isn't going to make me cry. And that didn't work. Obviously, I a couple chapters later, it's like, yeah, this went absolutely nowhere and it was just hogwash. So I backed up, I deleted it, took a little break, came back, told the voices to carry on, and I will just record what they tell me, put the words on the paper, and then I'm sobbing and terrifying my husband. This book, first of all, I will say it is very good. And I did have concern. We've all read those books where it's a series and you read the first book and you really like it. The second book is, it's okay. By the third book, you're kind of out of it. And I didn't want to do that to you guys, especially after making you wait a whole year. I wanted to make sure that this book was worth the wait. It is. It is so good. It's what needed to happen. I am sorry for my tears. I'm probably gonna have to get a tissue. It's necessary, but I feel like I have to do a PSA to say, yeah, the first one, I got a lot of comments that people were saying, we love this book. It is dark and it is twisted, but we love it. You are going to like Smother. If you are an empath, as I am, it is going to emotionally destroy you, and I apologize in advance. If you read this book and you don't cry, and I don't care if you're the manliest man ever, because this thriller series, I picked up a lot of male readers in. If you don't at least get a little teary-eyed, I think that you should go and get therapy right away, because I am telling you, as the writer, if what happened in Marked by Forever is true, and my readers are not connecting with Dr. Darren Mansfield because I didn't connect with him, the fact that Smother has made me drain tissue box after tissue box to the point that days after I wrote it, I'm still shaking and just destroyed, crying randomly. You guys need to pick up some of that emotion. I'm hoping that you will share in how distraught I was in writing this. It'll make me feel better if you guys just write in and say, hey, yeah, it made us cry. I am a woman of a certain age. It could be menopause. Who really knows? But this one, my heart and my soul is in. I love this series so much. I'm getting ready to write the third book. I'm taking just a little bit of a break and then going straight into writing the third and final book in the Hinton Thriller series. And I'm not making you wait a full year for it. You're going to get this one on March the 1st. So I'm really excited about it. I'm excited for you guys to read it. I love it so much. I just needed to come on here and tell you guys that what I've experienced in these books, so it's vastly different. And I'm learning a lot as I go along, and I learn a lot from your feedback. That is the reason I'm doing a hard pivot into all things thriller. I even have, probably in 2023, I'm going to have some fantasy thrillers coming out. And everything that I write from this day forward, we are going to label it as a thriller. If you like romance, do not worry. There's going to be a love story in the pages in some form or fashion. There's going to be that emotional connection between characters, because that's what I like when I read. To me, everything is a romance, but apparently if there's a head in a box, you guys don't think that's a romance. If you haven't read Descend, order it today. You can do that directly from my website, from my Shopify store. And it's also available at retailers and libraries worldwide. If you would like to get a physical copy, if you order from me to get a signed copy, you're going to get this limited edition special cover. If you order from retailers, I know because I'm stuck over here next to this microphone, you guys probably can't see. I'm going to tear everything up. But there is okay. There is a bluish cover with a girl, and if you go to retailers, that is the copy that you're going to get, whether it's ebook cover or paperback cover that is the new cover, because this one looks a little Mortal Kombat. But in 2023, when I release the third and final book, I'm going to do a hardback collector's edition, and it's going to have a version of this cover because I love this design. And I think once you guys read the series, and if you're a fan and you want that autographed hardback collector's edition, then you're going to appreciate it having that special cover on it. And I'll probably do some other artwork and stuff because, again, I love this series. It's so good. So that is where we're going. September, Marked by Forever, fourth and final book in the Beller Ties collection. These are standalone, romantic, suspense, thriller, or just thriller. Call them whatever you want. But there are 4 books in that collection, and you can read it early. I have paperbacks and ebooks in stock currently, and you can read today if you order directly from me. And then again, Smother, I will put the beautiful cover by Marianne from Pre-Made Ebook Cover Shop on the screen. And that one is going to release on October 31st, 2022. It is available for pre-order directly from me. I will have the pre-order up on retailers in the near future, but for now you can get it directly through me and for a discounted price. I appreciate you guys being here. I hope you have a good day. Happy reading my books and any other books that you're reading. Let me know what your favorites are. I definitely am looking for a good vampire series right now. Vampires are never going to go out of style for me. I've loved them since I was a child. So if you're writing vampire stories or you read vampire stories and you have favorites, please let me know. I will also accept demons, some of the fairy stuff. I'm having a little bit of a love-hate relationship with fairies at the moment. But yeah, any fantasy books that you have that you like, let me know. And bonus points if they include vampires. For all things LeeDonna and to keep up with what I am doing, the easiest way to do that is leeDonnaBooks.com. Thank you. I appreciate you being here today, and I will see you on my next video. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, like this video, do all the things and all the places. Go take my sister-in-law for a walk now. She's going to get a little muddy. She doesn't know that yet.